This video is I did this video a while ago, but it was a lot of technical difficulty, so I ended up just scrapping the whole thing. Let me blur my background. Okay, don't let attitude be the reason you stay stuck. There are some people who do not need a prison sentence to live behind bars. Their attitude already built the cage. And the dangerous part is that many of them decorated it. They put a plant in the corner, they hung up motivational quotes, they convinced themselves the cage was wisdom, boundaries, confidence, experience, discernment, self respect, protecting their peace, or whatever buzzword sounded noble enough to hide the fact they stopped growing years ago. Attitude can get you far in life. Our attitude can turn every day into a syndicated rerun of a 90s cult classic. Same conflict, same bad communication, same financial stress, same. I already know that will never work. People like us don't do that. I tried that already. Same person, different calendar date. And eventually, life stops feeling like a journey and starts feeling like a loop. The scary part is that attitude is internal, but we live in an external world. So many people spend their whole lives polishing the outside while the inside is running on expired software. They can dress well, they can speak well, they have degrees, money, charming, funny, even loved by the public. But if their attitude is rotten, stubborn, defensive, fragile, and allergic to correction, then they are not a person walking through life. They're a walking landmine. You may not know where the explosion is. You may not know when it is coming, but eventually someone is going to step on the wrong truth, and boom, there goes the friendship, relationship, job, promotion, opportunity, peace. There goes the version of their life that could have been better if they had been willing to check themselves before life checked them with interest. The know-it-all attitude is one of the most expensive personalities a person can carry. And I do not just mean financially. I mean emotionally expensive, relationally expensive, spiritually, professionally, because the know-it-all is not always someone who knows a lot. Sometimes the know-it-all is just someone who cannot tolerate the feeling of not knowing. That is a very different thing. A wise person can say, I do not know yet. A teachable person can say, show me. A growing person can say, I was wrong. But a know-it-all has to protect the performance. They cannot just learn, they have to win. They cannot just listen, they have to correct. They cannot just receive feedback, they have to interrogate the tone, question the motive, attack the messenger, rewrite the scene, and then walk away feeling like they survived an attack when all they were given was a mirror. A mirror is not an enemy, a mirror is just honest. But when shame is driving the bus, honesty feels like violence. That is why so many people confuse correction with disrespect. They confuse disagreement with betrayal. They confuse accountability with hatred. They confuse growth with humiliation. And once that happens, the person no longer responds to reality. They respond to the wound reality touch. That is when attitude becomes more than a personality flaw. It becomes a life manager. It starts making decisions for them, choosing their friends, ruining their relationships, turning away mentors, rejecting opportunities. It starts telling them, you're fine. Everyone else is the problem. And that sentence has ruined more lives than many people are willing to admit. One of the most dangerous things about a fixed attitude is that it does not stay inside the person who has it. It spreads. A person fails on a road, then tells everyone behind them the road is impossible. They tried a business and failed, so now your business will fail. They tried school and struggled, so now your degree is pointless. They had a bad relationship, so now love is a scam. They were embarrassed trying something new, so now everyone who tries is delusional. They were too afraid to leave their hometown, change careers, start over, learn a skill, heal, save money, build discipline, or outgrow the group. So now anyone who does is acting different. This sounds small, and to the know-it-all is the parent the child is trying to impress. Now a child's dream has to survive the fear of the person who has raised them. This sounds small, and to the know-it-all is the manager standing between an employee and a promotion. Now someone's career path has to pass through the ego of someone who already decided who they are. This sounds small until the know-it-all is in the jury pool and has already made up their mind from headlines, rumors, short clips, and emotional noise. Now a person's freedom may be competing with another person's certainty. This sounds small until the know-it-all is the person you love, and the relationship is standing on the edge of either deeper connection or sudden destruction. You bring them truth, they bring a defense team. You bring pain, they bring a counter argument. You bring a warning, they bring performance. And then one day the relationship does not end because there was no love. It ends because the attitude kept interrupting the love. Psychologically, attitude is not just attitude, it is often identity protection. A person is not only defending an opinion, they're defending the version of themselves that the opinion protects. That is why some people will rather lose a relationship than lose an argument. They will rather keep the image than keep the connection. They will rather be seen as right than become healthy. In Jungian terms, this is where the persona starts running the whole house. The persona is the mask. It is the version of self that goes into the world and says, this is who I want you to believe I am. The persona is not actually bad. We all have one. We all adapt to environments. You do not show up to court, the gym, a funeral, a first date, and a job interview with the exact same presentation. Well, some people do, but speaking for myself, the danger comes when the persona becomes the prison guard. And that is when someone can be uplifting in public and cruel in private, generous to strangers and emotionally bankrupt at home, spiritual online and vindictive in real life, a motivational speaker to the world and a wrecking ball to the people closest to them. And when the truth starts leaking through the costume, they panic, they deny, blame, justify. They turn the person who noticed into the problem, because to them, the issue is not what they did. The issue is that someone saw it. That is the danger of unresolved shame. Shame says, if I am wrong, I am bad. Maturity says, if I am wrong, I can learn. Those two sentences create two completely different lives. One builds people, the other builds defenses. Attitude is contagious. Well, I the screen reset. I have to go all the way back down. I'll pause till I find it again. Attitude is contagious. Humans often think of illness as something physical. A virus spreads, a bacteria spreads, a cough spreads, a fever spreads, but mood spreads too. Stress spreads, fear spreads, arrogance, hopelessness, courage, joy, laziness, discipline. You ever watch one person yawn and suddenly other people start yawning? You ever walk into a room where one person's bad mood has changed the temperature of the whole place? You ever go to a concert, church, family gathering, stadium, gym, or celebration and feel your mood shift because the energy around you shifted? That is not imaginary. Emotional contagion is real. Research has examined how people unconsciously mirror or absorb the emotional states around them. And newer reviews have studied decades of human emotional contagion research across in person and social settings. And social media took that human vulnerability and put it into a conveyor belt. Now people don't just catch attitudes from their homes, schools, jobs, churches, and friend groups. They catch attitudes from strangers with ring lights. They catch attitudes from comment sections. They catch attitudes from influencers who do not know them, do not love them, and would not visit them in the hospital. They catch attitudes from stan culture, and stan culture can become an emotional plantation and a spiritual sweatshop. Because some public figures do not treat their supporters like people. They treat them like shields, free legal representation in the court of public opinion, unlimited ATMs where the money never stops, a digital army willing to defend anything, explain away anything, attack anyone, and warp reality if the mask starts melting. And the supporter thinks they're being loyal, but sometimes they're just being used. They alienate real people in their life for a figure who does not know their middle name. They cut off friends over celebrities. They argue with family over influencers. They inherit the bad attitudes of people they will never meet. And that attitude transfers into their own home, job, relationships, and worldview. That is the silent danger. We're not just consuming content. Sometimes we're being consumed by the emotional climate of the content. Bad attitudes make self-destruction feel like self-respect. This is where attitudes gets dangerous. A bad attitude will protect everything a person does, even when the thing they're doing is destroying them. A person who explodes at the drop of a dime will justify the explosion. They will say that's just how I am. They will say people know not to play with me. They will say I keep it real. But keeping it real has cost people jobs, relationships, freedom, and sometimes their lives. Some people do not have anger issues. They have accountability issues wearing anger's jacket. Some people were warned for years about how they treated lovers, family members, co-workers, employees, clients, and friends. They ignored every warning. Then one day, the consequences arrived wearing work boots. Now they're unemployed, lonely, blocked, in court. Now they're trying to explain to themselves to people who are no longer interested in the explanation. And the same applies to money. A person can have a bad financial attitude and call it abundance. They call it treating themselves, self-care. I deserve this. But if bills are late, savings are empty, the emergency fund is imaginary, the credit score is grasping for air, and every unexpected expense feels like a natural disaster, that is not abundance. That is avoidance with the receipt. Yes, my fellow thousandaires, this includes us too. You do not have to be rich to be financially arrogant. Sometimes the person making $40,000 a year has the same bad attitude as the person making $400,000 a year. Different budget, same delusion, same refusal to adjust, same I know what I'm doing, same panic when the consequences show up. And the body keeps score too. Some people age badly, not because life was unfair, but because their attitude would not let them rest, stretch, hydrate, exercise, leave draining people alone, change their diet, go to therapy, manage stress, or listen when their body started whispering. The whisper became a warning. The warning became a symptom. The symptom becomes a diagnosis. The diagnosis becomes regret. And regret is one of the loudest rooms a person can live in. Social media is filled, overfilled with regret. Call the fire marshal. People regretting who they dated, what they posted, what they spent, who they trusted, not leaving sooner, not starting sooner, not listening sooner. But regret only becomes wisdom when it changes present behavior. And also, might I add, a lot of the people I see that regret stuff, people were telling them in the exact moment to try to shift the narrative, to try to change the future, and they would be combative. So honestly, regret is inevitable with the way that a lot of people are showing themselves to be. Even though if it's a lot of people that I'm referring to, then that means that it's a lot of people that's the opposite of them, which means it's people that's decent, people that do take mentorship and understanding. So shout out to them, and hopefully I connect with some of y'all in the wild naturally, not through here, and work something out. But the amount of argumentative people and the stuff they be argumentative about is very weird. But you can always tell it's coming from somewhere deeper. It's something else going on, and that's just their way of getting their rocks off. But it's very strange. Not to mention, have yet to see any that has social media decorum and digital footprint literacy. So good luck to your future, baby. That's all I will tell y'all. But regret only becomes wisdom when it changes present behavior. Otherwise, it is just pain with the memory. The past is a diagnostic tool, not a life sentence. The past should work like a vehicle diagnostic. It should show you what needs attention: weak battery, low tire pressure, engine misfire, fluid leak, brake issue, electrical problem. The diagnostic light is not there to insult the car. It is there to prevent the breakdown. But too many people treat their past like a manufacturer going bankrupt during 100 million vehicle recall. They ignore the defect. They keep driving. They blame the road. They blame the weather. They blame the passengers, the mechanic. They act shocked when the wheels come off. Your past is not supposed to be a throne. It is not supposed to be an excuse story or an excuse factory. It's supposed to be a museum where you keep walking through the same well, it's not supposed to be. Well, I'm Freudian slipping because this is how people actually live, but it is not supposed to be a museum where you keep walking people through the same exhibit forever. The past is supposed to inform you, not imprison you. If the same pattern keeps appearing, that is not confidence, that is curriculum. If the same type of person keeps hurting you, there may be a lesson in the selection process. If the same type of conflict keeps following you, there may be a lesson in communication. If the same financial emergency keeps happening, there may be a lesson in preparation. If the same workplace issue keeps repeating, there may be a lesson in skill, attitude, timing, or environment. The question is not, why does this keep happening to me? The deeper question is, what is this pattern trying to reveal before it becomes permanent? The groups we stay in become the lives we accept. Groups shape attitude. And if you want to understand someone's future, pay attention to the emotional economy of their circle. Online circles are included. You're in the circle with a bunch of other people who struggling and complaining and blaming external villains for personal life choices that led them to the present day iteration of their life. Good luck. I wish you the best of luck. You're gonna need all of it. And if you want to understand someone's future, pay attention to the emotional economy of their circle. Some groups are built on secret competition. Everyone smiles, but no one is truly happy when one person rises. Some groups have one clear leader and everyone else happily follows, even if the leader is lost with confidence. Some groups are healthy. People grow, encourage, correct, and pull each other upward. Then there are groups where one person grows and stays too long trying to pull everyone else up. Eventually, they face the choice: keep trying to save the group and get pulled down, or leave and get slandered. And many times, leaving the group will get you slandered, because people often do not interpret your growth as growth. They interpret it as judgment. Your boundaries become arrogance. Your silence becomes betrayal. Your discipline becomes thinking you better. Your healing becomes acting brand new. Your elevation becomes a mirror they did not ask for. And instead of doing their own work, they try to bring you back to the version of yourself that made them comfortable. This is why attitudes matter, because the wrong attitude will make a person loyal to the cage. The right attitude will make a person loyal to the calling. Attitude can keep a person stuck in a career field where the ladder was almost an escalator. Sometimes when you look at the people in authority around you, the only difference is a license, patience, self-belief, risk tolerance, in a corner office. That does not mean everyone can do everything, but it does mean many people disqualify themselves before life ever gets the chance. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't do that. I tried before. I don't have the right background. I don't have the right people. I'm not ready. Some of these statements may have facts inside of them, but many of them are not facts. They are attitudes wearing business casual. And in the workplace, attitudes does not just affect one person. Managers shape entire climates. Gallup's workplace research continues to show low global employee engagement, and the 2026 report says engagement declined again in 2025 to its lowest since 2020. When leaders are disengaged, defensive, poorly trained, or emotionally unavailable, their teams feel it. This is why a bad manager can make a good employee question their future. This is why one gatekeeper can slow down talent. This is why some workplaces lose their best people and keep asking why. The answer is often simple. People did not leave the work. They left the attitude surrounding the work. Self-check. Is your attitude helping you or holding you hostage? Now let us bring the mirror closer, not for shame, but for inventory, because the goal is not to walk around calling everyone else difficult. The goal is to ask, where am I difficult, and calling it personality. Here are questions worth sitting with. When someone gives you feedback, do you listen for truth, or do you immediately search for flaws in their delivery? Do you need the person correcting you to be perfect before you can receive anything useful from them? Do you often say that is just how I am when the people around you are telling you that how you are is hurting the connection? Do you secretly feel attacked when someone knows something you do not know? Do you discourage people from trying things because you failed at them? Do you confuse your experience with universal law? Do you assume people will fail because you did? Do you punish people emotionally when they outgrow your advice? Do you turn conversations into courtrooms? Do you apologize with explanations so long that the apology disappears? Do you call yourself blunt when you are really careless? Do you call yourself loyal when you're really enabling? Do you call yourself protective when you are really controlling? Do you call yourself honest when you're really using truth as a weapon? Do you keep friends around who reinforce your worst instincts because they make you feel right? Do you follow public figures who make you more angry, arrogant, more suspicious, more cruel, or less capable of nuance? Do you spend more time defending your life than improving it? Do you talk about what you're going to do while repeatedly refusing the habits required to become that person? Do you treat your past as a teacher or as a permission slip? Do you only want growth when it comes with applause? Do you only want healing when no one asks you to change? If some of these questions touch a nerve, good. A nerve means something is alive. The point is not to condemn yourself. The point is to locate the leaks. Practical steps. Step one, separate identity from behavior. Instead of saying, I am a failure, say that behavior failed. Instead of saying, I am bad with money, say my current money system is not working. Instead of saying, I am terrible at relationships, say my current relationship patterns need examination. This matters because shame freezes people. Responsibility moves people. Step two, ask for feedback from someone who is honest but not cruel. Not your biggest fan, not your loudest critic, someone balanced, like a therapist. Ask them, what is one attitude or habit you think is holding me back? Then do the hardest thing. Do not debate, do not explain, do not perform. Write it down, sit with it, look for patterns. Step three, study your trigger. What correction makes you defensive? What type of person makes you feel small? What success in others makes you uncomfortable? What topics make you start performing intelligence instead of practicing curiosity? Your triggers are not random, they are arrows. Step four, change your input. If your content diet is full of rage, stand wars, gossip, doom, humiliation, arrogance, and emotional chaos, do not be surprised when your inner world starts sounding like a comment section with a ring light. Baby, I know it is, because for some of y'all that I follow back on here, y'all done messed my timeline up with some of the stuff y'all watch. That's fine, you watch it, but I don't want to see it. Your mind is not a trash can. Stop letting everyone dump in it. Step five, practicing the mature sentence. I did not know that. I was wrong. I need to think about that. I can see how that affected you. I need help. I reacted badly. I am working on it. Those sentences sound small, but for some people, they are spiritual deadlifts. Step six, attach growth to systems, not moods. Do not wait to feel transformed. Build a system, budget weekly, read daily, walk daily, train consistently, sleep better, save automatically, have difficult conversations sooner, clean your environment, limit your exposure to people who make dysfunction feel normal. Baby, if you was in New Orleans, you wouldn't have anybody to talk to. It is a repeated vote for a better self. Closing, do not let attitude be the reason. Some people are not trapped by oppression anymore. They are trapped by an old version of themselves that they keep protecting. They were freed from the cage long ago, but the attitude kept the door locked from the inside. I know what a caged bird sing because it's trying to outdo me. And life is too short to be loyal to a mindset that keeps making your world smaller. Do not let attitude be the reason you stay broke when you could learn. Do not let attitude be the reason you stay lonely when you could soften. Do not let attitude be the reason you stay unhealthy when you could adjust. Do not let attitude be the reason you lose people who were trying to love you honestly. Do not let attitude be the reason you reject opportunities because they arrive dressed like correction. Do not let attitude be the reason you become the cautionary tale you were warned about, because the future is not only built by talent, it is built by teachability. The future is not only built by intelligence, it is built by humility, not humidity, even though we have a lot of that out here. Humility. The future is not only built by confidence, it is built by correction. And sometimes the difference between the person who stays stuck and the person who rises is not luck, beauty, money, age, or background. Sometimes the difference is attitude. One person says, I already know, and then I tell them I got to go. But the other says, teach me what I am missing. And over time, those two sentences can become different destinies. And that was it for this segment. Thank you for watching, and have a cool weekend, because it is a heat wave out here. Heat waves, man, freaking me out.